Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Jamie, for that wonderful introduction. So great to see you all this morning. Sorry, just get this clicker. I'm Eimear, Head of Experience and Industry Development here at Tourism NI, and I'm a white female. I've got blondie, brown, bit grey hair. At the minute, the hairdresser is coming on Monday. I'm medium height, and today I'm wearing a pink dress that my friend who owns a shop in Dungiven assured me was the height of fashion. So I'm delighted to see you all this morning to update you, I suppose, on our collective efforts to embrace accessibility and inclusion within the tourism industry. And in 2024, tourism delivered 1.1 billion for the economy here in Northern Ireland, supporting over 70,000 jobs, and 70% of those were outside the Belfast area, showing our sector's amazing ability to drive inclusive growth across all areas. And over the next 10 years, the Minister has set us a big target, and that's to double the value of tourism to £2 billion by 2035, and you're all such an important part of that journey. And whilst the economic impact is very important, so is the social impact, and inclusive and accessible tourism is a key work stream within Tourism NI. Our brand, Embrace a Giant Spirit, which hopefully you all know and have seen in many of our TV ads and our marketing, it promises at its very core our visitors a very authentic experience, the ability to connect with local people in local places and local communities. It promises a warm welcome to absolutely everybody. And we want to ensure that that giant welcome is extended to all parts, and all visitors have the opportunity to really be present in the moment and enjoy their time here. So what is inclusive tourism? Well, it's about making here accessible, enjoyable, regardless of your age, your ability, your background, your identity. And as Jamie said, today we're here to discuss some research, hear from some great industry, and support you on get started or to continue this journey. So let's look at the stats. Market research has informed the need for this work. Visit Britain did research back in 2023, which outlined the value of the purple pound in England, and it was valued at a total of £14.6 billion for the local economy. So there's both a clear business need for this, but also a societal reason, like this is the right thing to do. So the market need here, in Northern Ireland, 1 in 5 say they have additional visitor needs, with 1 in 10 travelling with someone that has accessibility needs. In the south, which is one of our largest tourism markets, 1 in 10 either have accessibility requirements or travel with someone who has, so they represent really sizable groups of our target market. And a key takeaway from today will all be about communication. The need to communicate accessibility features through your channels, your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, your e-zines. And here we see that 2/3 of people look online for accessibility information, but only 1/3 are able to find this information readily whenever they're starting to plan. And this is a key area that my colleague Mark will be looking at later on today. So, about 18 months ago, within Tourism NI, an internal working group sat down to look at how we were supporting your industry embed inclusion. I'm just going to ask my Tourism NI colleagues to give a wee wave. I love embarrassing people, so this is great. So they all are, so they're members of our inclusive and accessible working group, so please say hello to them during the breaks, etc. So we all sat down and says, what are we doing? How can we do it better? And is there room for improvement? And the answer to everything was yes and yes. So first of all, we needed to fully understand levels of industry knowledge to allow us to be able to help you. So we went out with a survey. I know everybody loves surveys, but they are very important. And we did this in partnership with Disability Action, and nearly 500 tourism businesses participated. They represented a wide range of businesses, from accommodation to attractions. And the survey really helped us to understand how the industry rate the accessibility of their businesses. So let's look at the first result. Only 55% of businesses see their business as being fully accessible. And I know, Jamie, fully accessible, not possible, but that's what the question asked. Positively, however, nearly 70% perceive accessibility as very important. So that's a great starting point. People recognise and businesses recognise how important this is. We then looked at knowledge and engagement, and here we see a clear knowledge gap. Over half considered their knowledge in this area to be average or poor. 75% of tourism businesses had not yet engaged with an external organisation to seek advice. And that's back to Brigine's point, ask questions, ask for help. And 63% had not conducted an accessibility assessment to help them inform and improve their accessibility audit. And of the 23% who had conducted an accessibility audit, only then 23% had taken any specific action. So whilst they'd gone to the effort of getting an audit and everything done, they had then not progressed any of the actions. We then looked at disability legislation and staff training. 42% stated that they were not aware of any legislation relating to disability legislation or compliance, which was quite shocking. Positively, however, of those who were aware, a range of initiatives were delivered to staff, mainly disability or equality training, but also covering areas such as deaf, blind, autism and sign language. We then looked at how businesses promote their accessibility features, and we remember how important from that previous slide this information is at the planning stage, to have that information front and centre. So nearly 60% of tourism businesses do not currently promote their accessibility provision. But note here the sectoral differences, with visitor attractions scoring here much better than other areas of tourism. And another stark fact, 65% of tourism businesses do not have a formal accessibility statement or commitment. So let's look at the good news. It's a bit sad. The good news was there were high ratings across the board of businesses recognising that they can do better, and that's what today's all about. Let's get started with their premises. They can do better with their promotion, with their staff training, and their website accessibility. And when we asked what Tourism NI and indeed other partners here in the room today can do to help, not surprisingly, the top answer was financial assistance. It always is, but numerous other interventions were called out, like providing practical guidance, training, case studies, the opportunity to network with disability organisations, and help to support to promote their accessibility features. So lots of ideas for how businesses can get help in this area. And where would tourism businesses look to for support? This is a very important question for us to really make the case for investment in this area. And not surprisingly, tourism businesses look to Tourism NI and their local council to help them on this journey. So in summary, low ratings for overall accessibility of tourism businesses, the promotion of accessible features and awareness in the area. Oh, sorry. But positively, there was high ratings for knowing that this is the right thing to do, and high ratings also for knowing that great improvements can and should be made. And we know now what we, as a supporting organisation, can do to help you on your journey. So what now? Based on the research, we have a clear plan that we are trying to roll out to support businesses. So we need to provide you with practical information and supports. We need to help you take action, develop action plans, and importantly, we need to help you accurately promote your features and to help visitors plan their stay. So when they come here, they're able to experience that giant spirit that we promise, and that's what we're all about today. So we're delighted to tell you more today about our inclusive and accessible toolkit. We have licensed this from our colleagues in Visit Britain, who developed this with input from their Inclusive Tourism Working Group. And there was significant representation in that group from disability groups and organisations, and that's so important. We have also engaged on a local level with many organisations through Disability Action, and we thank them for that support, which was absolutely crucial to ensure that we're working together and really representing all the lived experiences, the real people out there who need to benefit from these efforts. So rather than me talk you through the toolkit, which is quite a hefty toolkit, we hopefully have a nice video to go through it. wee fancy bit at the end. So this toolkit is aimed specifically at tourism businesses. So whether you're a small self-catering property right up to a large visitor attraction, there are learnings and actions for you within that toolkit. So it provides the guidance and all the theory of inclusive tourism, but it's also very practical checklists and all that there. And we work with experts tilting the lens to ensure that the content was correct for the Northern Ireland environment as well. So tourism businesses really learn better from each other, and we're delighted to have so many tourism businesses join us today on the panel. And throughout the toolkit, we have some fantastic case studies showing best practice in a range of areas. So, physical and sensory disabilities, blind, low vision visitors who need an assistance dog, and also looking at non-visible disabilities such as dementia. So we encourage you to check out these fantastic case studies and read what people are doing right across Northern Ireland, and we'll be hearing from some of them later on today, which would be fantastic. So as well as I'm talking very fast here today. So we've had great success so far with our toolkits. So we launched this initiative back at the end of April up in the Everington Hotel in Derry, and since that we have 223 enrolled learners on My Tourism NI who are going through the toolkit at various different points, and 35 inclusive tourism badges have been awarded to businesses, which is fantastic, showing that people are really using the toolkit and getting great learnings from it. So, and it's all about these small steps to a giant welcome. Another initiative we were absolutely delighted to deliver was we worked in partnership with Visit Belfast, who are here today, and Belfast City Council as well. And 2 years ago we delivered our first ever training for tour guide course training for the deaf community in Belfast, and we were delighted to repeat that again this year with Northwest College in Derry and Derry City and Strabane District Council. And so we now have 16 members of the deaf community in both Derry and Belfast who hold a tour guiding qualification. So we're absolutely delighted with that. So hopefully you have found that research insightful and helpful to set the scene for the rest this morning. A bit like Bridging, I followed with sort of some clear key takeouts. Take some time to review the toolkit and look at areas that are of interest to your business. You don't sit down and do the toolkit all in one go, because you could be there for about 2 weeks. You'd get nothing else done. It is very detailed, so you do need to dip in where you need supports. Log on to My Tourism NI and look at the e-learning modules. And we have Rachel and Kerry here today to help. There they are over there. Great. They are hard-working students who are going around all different industry events over the next few weeks to get people onboarded to My Tourism NI. So no excuse to leave today and say, oh God, I couldn't get signed on. The girls are here to help you, and look at the e-learning modules at your own speed and just get started. It may seem really daunting, and it was actually very daunting for us as an internal working group to sit down and go, what can we do? We were a bit nervous, a bit fearful, and we don't know everything now, but we just had to get started and get cracking on this. So hopefully with our supports and the insights from today, you'll see that it's not about massive changes. There are many small changes that we can make to really embed inclusivity at the heart of our tourism experience. So I'm just going to finish off now by showing some case studies which were developed by Belfast City Council and Visit Belfast. So we've pinched them for today, and it's going to show one of our most popular hospitality businesses, Lavery's Bar, to see what they have been doing in this particular area.
Lavery's family-owned bar.
My name's Owen O'Toole, and I'm an operations coordinator for Lavery's. Lavery's Bar and the Woodworkers, it's been one of Belfast's oldest and longest running family run bars. The way I think of it is we kind of tailor having something for everyone, so there's cocktails, there's drinks, there's food, there's pool. It's just, you're trying to create a business and environment where anyone can come and have a really, really good time. I think you want to be inclusive of all, of everyone, of all types of people. You wouldn't necessarily want to treat anyone differently if they just had that type of ailment or any sort of disability. We welcome everyone, and we want to make it as a comfortable environment for everyone as possible. It's also about access, really. So when the Woodworkers was created, we had the ability to put in our disabled lift. That obviously helps people in wheelchairs, people with accessibility issues to access the top floor. We've got different access points for toilets and stuff, put in ramps and steps, so there's always options of easier ways for people to get around and feel like they can access the whole bar and not they're restricted to one level because they might not be able to access stairs or things like that. And just making sure they've everything available that everyone else has available, toilets in every type of facility that they would need. We'd work with different groups that would come in, like the Now group and stuff. So we would have some staff members that would have different disabilities, but they've incorporated themselves into the bar. They're more than welcome. They thrive within the industry. They're maybe a little bit, maybe struggle at first, but I think anyone that we find, they've enjoyed it more. They've opened themselves up. Maybe if they're a little bit shy when they first kind of start, or they're not too sure around social cues and stuff, it's the best way to get around because you're constantly immersed in the environment. So put yourself in a customer's mindset. If you were coming in, say you were in a wheelchair, you had any form of accessibility issue, and kind of walk around your business and look and think, would this be easy for me to move? We were lucky enough that when the Woodworkers was created, we had that opportunity to put in the disabled lift, to put in more disabled toilets, ramps and access points and stuff like that. So it's putting yourself into the mindset of your customer and trying to create somewhere that's accessible for everyone, really.
Great, thank you so much, everybody, and I'm looking forward to the rest of today's programme. Thank you.